Blessed morning and welcome to all our CEAP participants on this third day of the CEAP Child Protection Summit with the theme, Creating a Culture of Care Amidst Constant Change. I am Maria Lycia Laig-Rivadelo, the Colegio de San Agustin-Makati Agustinian Learning Support Associate for Grade School and Vice-Chairperson of the Child Protection Committee. I am honored to be your moderator this morning. Yesterday, we listened to Sister Mary John Manansan explain how online child abuse is not simply cyberbullying, but transcends into online child sexual exploitation and abuse. Sister MJ stressed that in order to halt this kind of child abuse, it will take more than merely arresting the perpetrators, but a total implementation of existing laws and full education and awareness of these laws in the home, the school, and community. She calls for a whole nation approach to successfully stop the exploitation of our children. During her turn, Attorney Mylen B. Gonzalez Esquivel lectured us on the laws that define and differentiate online bullying and child abuse. She schooled us on how online predators make it possible to select, groom, victimize, and abuse our children. However, the most lamentable and horrifying act is the abuse that happens inside the child's home, wherein the perpetrators are their own family members. Both of our speakers reminded us of the rights of the child. Our speakers caused us to remember that protection of all children is not just a law, but it is the ultimate right thing to do. Before we continue, let us begin our webinar with an opening prayer as we remember that we are in the holy presence of God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we glorify and praise you. Because of your unconditional love and infinite mercy, we continue to enjoy the gifts of life and mission, the mission of guiding and protecting the children whom you entrusted to us. Truly, they are treasures from you. Bless their minds with sound decision-making skills. Bless their hands to be channels of affection and care. Bless their tongues so they will speak words that give life, encouragement, and graces. Protect them, O Lord. Be their shield and fortress. Let no bad influence corrupt their minds and keep them away from harm and illness. Let the Holy Spirit be a source of their guidance, courage, and hope. As educators and parents, make us good examples for them, so we become instruments by which they will see you. We ask this in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good morning once again. For those of you who just tuned in with us, we welcome you to the third day of our CEAP Child Protection Summit. We are live both on the CEAP Facebook page and the CEAP channel on YouTube. Before we begin, allow me to give you some reminders. First, as the talk is ongoing, we encourage you to post your questions or comments at the comments section on Facebook and YouTube, and we will ask these questions or read the comments during the Q&A portion. Second, certificates. We get a lot of queries about certificates. Please be informed that you will receive the certificate of attendance only upon completion of the evaluation form. The link has already been posted as part of the caption of this video, both on YouTube and Facebook. But please note that the link will only go live from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. today. So if you click it now, it's not going to open. We encourage you to answer the evaluation form and you will receive your certificate of attendance within 3 to 5 days. Finally, please be reminded as well that this is a free webinar brought to you in partnership with the Private Education Assistance Committee, or PEAC. Again, we are giving this to you for free. But if you want to pay it forward, you may donate to our Kapatirang Kamagong Fund. It is our fund for helping the poor and struggling CEAP mission schools because we heal as one. Lastly, we encourage you to share this webinar to your networks using hashtag CEAP Cares, hashtag I love CEAP, and hashtag I love Catholic Ed. Let me now introduce our session. In the UNICEF document entitled Building Resilient Education Systems Beyond the COVID-19 Pandemic, it proposes questions to assist and guide schools in planning their education systems. And I quote, to ensure all children and young people can participate in quality, inclusive education, can learn and can be adequately cared for and supported so that all barriers to participation, learning, and well-being are removed, and to strengthen the resilience of the system and the capacity of schools, teachers, and education officers to deliver inclusive quality education for all children, including times of crisis. Furthermore, it lists the 4 critical interrelated areas, and they are access to education provision, quality and inclusive learning, well-being through mental health and psychosocial support, and safe schools. Hence, this morning's session seeks to identify the venues that are safeguarding the well-being of all children, discuss concrete ways of ensuring safe online and on-site learning environments, present activities and programs geared towards addressing the mental health issues, concerns, and safety of all children during the transition period to hybrid high-flex learning. And last, find ways wherein there will be clear collaboration between the home, the school, and the community concerning all aspects. To help us achieve these objectives for this morning's session entitled Collaborating for Child Protection in the Period for Transition, we have 3 resource persons. Our first panelist is a Davao-based practicing clinical psychologist who obtained her PhD degree from Ateneo de Davao University and fellowship from Harvard University. She has also served on the board of the Psychological Association of the Philippines and chaired the Clinical Psychology Division in our country. At present, she is an associate professor of the Department of Psychology and the Assistant Dean for Social Sciences of the Ateneo de Davao. Let us welcome clinical psychologist and HR consultant and a member of the CEAP Child Protection Ad Hoc Committee, Dr. Nelly Z. Limbadan. Dr. Nelly, would you like to say something to our audience right now?
Hi, good morning, Miss Lycia, and to the entire CEAP family. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. And I am so excited to join us this morning in this talk, and hopefully we will also be able to learn to our listeners and the questions later that you will be asking us. So good morning, Miss Lycia, and hi, everyone.
Good morning, Dr. Nelly. It's so nice to have you here as well. And let me now introduce to you our second panelist. Our second panelist is a happy wife and mother to 4 boys, ages 26, 14, 7, and 6 years of age. She is a businesswoman and currently manages her own trading and construction companies. She has a PhD in business administration with a specialty in business management and supervision. She has been a parent section representative in LaSalle Green Hills since 2009. Let us give a virtual round of applause to our parent representative, the president of the LaSalle Green Hills Parents Association, Mrs. Catleya Ting-Garza. Good morning, Mrs. Garza. Would you like to say something to our audience?
Yes, hi, good morning, Lycia. Good morning, Dr. Nelly, and good morning to everyone who's watching, to the CEAP family. Thank you for inviting me, and please stay tuned for a very nice session that we're going to have today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Garza. May I call you Miss Cat?
Sure, Miss Lycia.
Thank you, ma'am. We just received a message from our third panelist, our barangay representative. Sad to say that she will not be able to attend our session today. She is at the doctor's office because she fell ill last night. So we are going to have a very interesting conversation with our two panelists, Dr. Nelly and Miss Cat. And I'd like to say hello also to my cousins and my family members and my colleagues at the Colegio de San Agustin-Makati. Shout out to Miss Kite. Thank you, Miss Kite. You got me into this. I hope you're very happy now. So, good morning, dear panelists again, and welcome to our Child Protection Summit. Before I ask you the first question, we would like you to watch this video because what I will ask is related to this.
I am uncertain. I am uncertain about when the pandemic will end.
I genuinely feel that the world is extra challenged right now in all aspects, particularly in staying hopeful and optimistic in our current situation.
And I've felt the frustrations of being cooped up in our homes and the chains of being alone.
And I feel overwhelmed with what is happening. No matter where we go, this pandemic affects most of us.
I think I still have fear and anxiety that the barrier between me and the outside world would just shatter anytime, any moment, and I wouldn't be ready for it.
I am feeling a little down about the world because of COVID-19 pandemic.
I am nervous but excited as I hear plans for blended learning for the next school year. However, I am grateful that the world is slowly recovering from the pandemic.
I am deeply saddened with what our world has to face right now.
I am happy that we are slowly but surely going back to normal. However, the world is still not totally fine, and unhappy about the fact that we humans are destroying our own habitat, our home.
Right now, I'm feeling anxious about the happenings.
I feel like a lot has changed, especially in the last 2 years since the COVID-19 pandemic started. But now, 2 years into the pandemic, I can say that I have completely adjusted to the new normal.
The things I hear about the world now, like the pandemic, are making me feel worried and uncertain about my life now and my future. There is fear in my heart because there is no certainty if I can survive the pandemic. Also, there is fear since I cannot control the situations and events that are happening now in the world.
The world feels overwhelming, yet there is a sliver of hope or silver lining. Thankfully, since the vaccines have been mandated,
we as kids stayed at home and still gaining knowledge through distance learning modality where learning never stops.
I feel so unsafe and unsure about what the future holds for us all, especially for the youth.
Personally, I can't help but feel anxious. This series of crises causes worry about the unknown and about what will happen.
For me, it was truly a season of learning and experiencing a wide range of emotions and greater love and care to restore a sense of well-being.
Medically, I want to feel protected in the school campus through the provision of utilities for hygiene and physical distancing. Socially, by gaining the assurance that bullying of any form is not tolerated. Educationally, by receiving transformative education and by being surrounded with competent and considerate educators. And lastly, spiritually, by being in an environment that upholds gospel values.
I want to be protected by being given assurance that
No matter what happens, I'll always get through it, and that always stay safe, and that there will always be someone to listen to my struggles and concerns about the world or anything happening or anything that troubles me.
Love to see plastic seating barriers for classrooms, ethyl alcohol in every corner, maybe add some thermometer or personal sanitary kits for each student.
I want to be protected by having authorities or government leaders who would really create and implement the laws of our country, as well as have a higher quality in the education sector of our society to really educate the people around me and give awareness regarding our reality.
For me to feel protected in my school is to see that the teachers, the students, and the faculty members are following the health and safety protocols such as social distancing, regular washing of hands, and wearing face masks.
I know I would feel safe if the prescribed health protocols are still obeyed. I would also like our classrooms and the whole campus to have proper ventilation. Lastly, I think installing alcohol dispensers and maintaining the cleanliness of every school facility is a must to keep us all safe and protected.
For me to feel protected, I need to surround myself with the right people who will make me feel safe. At school, I wanted to see and feel that I was in a community full of the positive.
Having enough security personnel and CCTVs can build up the trust I have. Moreover, if the school is comprised with individuals who are trustworthy themselves, are enough for me to feel protected. The school that I envision is a school that provides security and is surrounded with responsible, respectful, true, and honest people.
Students has to do their part by protecting ourselves and others by getting vaccinated against COVID-19, along with face masking, temperature checks upon entering, ensure physical distancing and safety protocols, open windows indoors to ventilate classrooms and common areas.
Thank you very much to our technician for helping us view the video. So in that video, you saw the children express themselves on how they felt through the 2 years that they've been at home. Just to let you know, I taught grade 3 art at Colegio de San Agustin the past academic year. And I've had students who tell me that they feel so sad and so depressed because their parents would not allow them to leave the house, just even to go to the rooftop of their condominium because mommy is scared. And the children felt really, really sad and felt unmotivated at certain times because all they could see, they said, "Teacher, I'm just inside my room. All I can see is the window and the 4 walls of my room." So I can identify with these children. So let's start with you, Dr. Nelly. How do you feel hearing these expressions from our youth and children?
The video sends
We are back. We apologize for the technical difficulties that we encountered. There wasn't any audio for a while, but I hope everyone can hear us now. Everyone can hear us now? All right. Thank you. Thank you very much again. Welcome back. So just to give you a short recap, we had the video wherein you had the students and teachers express how they felt about the world right now. And also they expressed what they needed to feel safe and secure while they are in school. So let us address again, Dr. Nelly. How do you feel hearing all of these from our youth and children?
Yeah. Hi again, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. These things happen. The video is a representation of what perhaps 95% of all our learners are feeling these days. But I see hope no? Parang there was a transformation, no? Nag-transition kasi tayo. At the start, di ba, takot, there was anxiety, and lahat ng sinabi nila. And it was also shared by the teacher, di ba? Pero later on, because nga, Miss Lycia, my blended na tayo, ito yung promise of getting back what I lost in the last 2 years. Or hindi siguro necessarily lost, may mga gains din naman, I'm sure, ang lahat dito, no? So there is that sense na we can do this, my hope, no? A very, very resilient sila. So that video is sending us a message of hope actually. Now we can do this. We just hold our hands together. That one, Miss Lycia.
That's great. I'm so glad to hear about that hope because just to let you know, I was teaching grade 3 art in the past academic year, and I had students who would tell me that they're so sad because they could not leave their condominiums, they could not leave their houses because their parents would not let them set foot outside the house. And some of them had times of just crying during class. They would turn off their cameras and I would ask, what's wrong? How come your camera is turned off? And they would say, teacher, I feel so sad. And they would just send that emoji, the one with a crying profusely. And then I'd ask them after class, what's wrong? Teacher, I want to go out, but mommy won't let me out. So those feelings were real, and I validated them, and I even told them that I feel the same way, but we have to understand that our parents want us to be safe. Was that correct, Dr. Nelly?
Yeah. The good thing about what you said now, no, what you shared is that there is that parallelism ba na yung mga bata nakikita din nila na of course my parents are also anxious about what's happening, na sila rin pala, hindi lang kami. So we are sharing this. Of course, iba't ibang level lang siguro yon, Miss Lycia, no? But yeah, it is really a normal reaction to an abnormal thing that is a pandemic. So we're experiencing something na parang expected yung ating reaction.
Yes, thank you. And then we have our follow-up questions. So regarding that video, my question is, what are the services in your institution with regard to child protection and with regard to what the children in the video expressed?
Okay. Before I'm going to answer that, let me just thank the following institutions here in Region 11, Ms. Lycia, ha? Kasi I did my own research or my own practice also, although I'm in the college higher ed right now, but I also practice pa rin seeing children. Now, to really get information and what's being done on the ground, I have asked the following institutions and the in charge. So let me thank Brother Noel, President of Holy Cross of Davao College, for Demar Bangeles, because I got data from him also. Let me also thank, of course, our President of the Ateneo de Davao University, Father Joel. Hi, shout out po sa iyo, because through your guidance director of the student development coordinator ng junior high school, si Sir Carlo Gyang. And of course, Sister Marisa, maraming salamat for Jovi Gatan, no? Kasi Sister Marisa, we're very own, no? Because I got this information from them. May 8 ito, or 7 siguro, Miss Lycia, ha? And please let me know kung gusto mong just to interrupt me because there are 8 things. So, may I proceed now, ha, Miss Lycia?
Yes.
Number 1, no? This is true to all the institutions and the guidance or student development centers kasi yung iba-iba ang tawag. Now, wala naman talagang like child protection department. Wala namang gano'n, no? Kahit saang school ka mapunta, whether that's a big Catholic school or hindi gaanong malaki. Lahat ng ginagawa ng activities at programs for child protection purposes nakalodge sa guidance center ng ating mga institution. Kaya if you want to know what's happening, we talk to our guidance counselors or student facilitators, no? Or carers, iba-iba ang tawag. Now, number 1, what I noticed na the same yung ginagawa nila, number 1 is that they still establish routine interviews, Miss Lycia. So, you can imagine if Ateneo has about you can think of a number, no? Marami sila, let's say 10,000 for example in the basic ed. Ang mga staff, they try their very very best to contact them all of them at least once a semester, okay, or term ba. And then routine siya, kumustahan, check-in, no? Yun yung sinasabi naman natin palagi, just a kumustahan. So ginagawa yan. But technically, it's called the routine interview. So tatawagan sila. Now, however, it's not also parang okay lahat because of so many reasons. Hindi din makakasagot, i-email sila, i-contact sila. So that one. So it is about establishing communication, constant communication, routine interviews. Okay. Number 2, the same ito sa tatlong in-interview ko, Miss Lycia, meron tayong convert. So yung mga activities na ginawa nila prior sa pandemic, kinontinue lang. So kung nagkaroon tayo ng counseling, consultation, in person, they have been doing it now through online modality. Kung paano gagawin, maraming platforms, no? So ginagawa yan. Now, the good thing about the data that I got, and I'd like to thank Carlo for sharing this, no? Kasi even the students themselves, the learner themselves, can actually refer to the counselors or to the in charge. And then this also extends to the other members of the community like the nurses, no, medically kung merong nakita, also the formators or the guidance counselors or the sa campus minister, ganyan. So, number 3 yan, no, would be the referral. Number 3 would be the referral system also. Okay. So, the referral system is hindi naman kasi lahat nasa guidance, concern siya ng guidance. So, kung kanino siya dapat i-attend. Okay. Now, pang-apat niyan would be, and this was conducted nung nag-change na yung alert levels ng mga region. So I'm sure this is also shared by our counselors or sa mga school authorities who are watching us right now sa Facebook. No, you can put in there kung ginagawa nyo rin ito. They did home visits, Miss Lycia. But of course, all the health protocols, no? They did home visitation kasi, di ba sabi ko sa first, check-in, tatawagan, kumustahan online. And if they are not responsive, talagang may gagawing home visitation. And that's a good thing, di ba? Kung ako yun, no, I'm a grader, tapos nakita ko yung familiar person who represents my institution, that would already be something to me. Now, next would be pang-5 na ito, no, if you remember. So, pang-5, and that's what we have been doing right now, the good side of the internet, no, itong Facebook, nag-enhance yung social media presence ng ating mga helpers, no, ng ating mga guidance counselors. For them to reach out the learners talagang gumrabe yung kanilang updating sa Facebook. Every day, may mga quotations, may mga things na just to guide everyone. In fact, hindi lang ito sa learners, pati rin sa mga teachers, pati rin sa mga adults. I remember in one of the CAP videos, sabi doon is that may pandemic and people are going to school, we do not also forget the adults. So ano ba ang ginagawa natin para sa mga teachers natin, para sa mga administrators natin? So one way of reaching out to really make them feel that your school is doing something for you, that you are protected, is that we go to you where you are present. Yun yung social media. Now we try to counter whatever is happening. Okay. Now, number 6, lahat naman siguro tayo may na-develop na or gumamit na tayo ng learning management system. Most of us kasi pag sinasabing learning management system, subjects, academic. But from what I gathered from these 3 institutions, they also use coursewares. No, they develop courseware, the technology now, no, na they can just log in and look for information. May mga videos doon na they uploaded and they can follow, ganyan. So these are things na we can just use, no? Click lang natin na asynchronously done, na kahit walang nagga-guide, they can access that particular courseware. Okay. Another one is ito is specific sa colleague namin sa Ateneo de Davao Junior High School. Meron silang, so may COVID, di ba? Then eto sila Sir Carlo, yung kanyang grupo, yung kanyang department, created what they call COVID. Hindi COVID na yung sakit, pero coping videos, di ba? So, COVID. Okay, so this is what we are fearing now. So, we have coping videos. Now, the good thing about coping videos is self-care, things that you can do when you are just at home, kung out of screen na ba. What I realized also, and this is, thank you, Jovi, for also saying this, no, isa sa mga natanungan ko na there really is collaboration. And one thing that I really appreciate is even yung mga alumni pala nila are contributing to coping videos. Halimbawa, may alumni na athlete. So, may video siya ginawa or making herself available. Ito yung gagawin natin. Ito yung mga routines natin. Of course, you can watch that online. Marami naman kayong pwedeng susundin, no, sa YouTube or what. But this one, talagang someone who's from that institution and sharing what he or she is doing also on her own, na na-share niya through the coping video. So it's really a collaboration. So what is this? As early as now, I'm telling our listeners, our viewers, for those of us na day 3 na andito pa rin sa CAP activities natin, na collaboration really is the name of the game. We often said na ano, 'di ba? It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise children in this pandemic. So eto na yan, and I'm so glad that even those who have already graduated came back to their institutions and also tried to help. No, so yun, talk about child protection. Do other things that the learners are also interested. Kumbaga kung ano yung gusto nila. Kasi di ba, you can do naman exercises at home. Regardless of how big your area is, pwede ka nang maging creative. And then siguro pang last would be, we shouldn't forget, no? If we have child protection activity programs for the children, for the learners, hindi din pwedeng kalimutan natin ang parents and the adults themselves and the teachers themselves. So, meron tayong ginagawa, even before, no, before the pandemic, diba, merong mga parenting seminars, merong mga consultations, kahit hindi card day or what, pinapatuloy natin yan ngayon, which means that we stayed in contact and we really enhanced, no, expanded that communication in so many ways. So, what I'm saying here is that nag-evolve na. Kung dati, may pa-email tayo, phone call or what, ngayon, we are doing that siguro 10 times over. Then you can imagine also the demand this thing has brought to our counselors. So, kaya part of the child protection activities would also be protecting those who are protecting our children, and those are our adults. So yun na muna for now, Miss Lycia. I think parang ano siya, no, from an individual activity to group activity yung na-share sa akin and what we have been doing also. So yun. Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nelly, for your sharing. And I can see the clear collaboration of the different schools in your region, and it was very clear. Although I just received a text from the head of our admissions because she's also a member of the CPC. In Colegio San Agustin-Makati, the CPC is a separate committee. So we are not really tied in with the guidance. And I would also like to validate what you said about social media. In the past 2 years, prior to that, we've always had not really a good view, perhaps, of social media, of how it was being used. But in the past 2 years, social media was used as it should be in spreading positivity, in helping people cope with the pandemic. And in that, I must congratulate social media inventors for that. Now, let's have our... Oh, there's another question po I'd like to ask you. How can the children tap into these services?
Okay. Lahat ng the services that I mentioned are all posted sa kanya-kanyang mga websites, sa kanya-kanyang mga links ng mga universities, and I'm sure this is also true to all. Kasi 'di ba, they can just contact. So merong database, updated siya. No, if you want like directly cell phone number or the email, but meron din link na they can just easily go and parang sign up sheets, ganyan. Kasi for example Miss Lycia ha, so 'di ba I mentioned merong online counseling, meron ding the peer counseling actually ginagawa din still ng ating mga member schools, no. Merong link. So maraming, it's really just a matter of clicking that, no, kasi 'di ba may mga orientation tayo. So the thing here is that the parent and the student and the learner, alam nila yung pinaka-contact person, pinaka-point person sa kanilang level, no? Kasi meron namang assign na ganyan. So halimbawa, kung grade 7 ka or grade 8 ka, 'di ba? Very ano tayo diyan, no? Madetalye tayo at the start ng school opening natin. Or even in between, no, ongoing yung mga, siguro ang term ng iba, reorientation, a review of this and that. So marami, because we use the technology to our advantage. And I'd like to make it clear ha, na in tapping these services, the technology should not and does not replace the human connection. Kaya meron tayong mga 'di ba may mga seminar tayo na kung kausap na ni teacher si learner, dapat walang mga masyadong distractions sa background, dapat nakatingin sa ganitong point ng camera or sa screen mo para mamimik natin 'yon, no? Mamimik natin yung talagang kausap natin ng isa't isa. So 'yun, there are many links, no? And each institution has provided a particular link, a particular methodology, process, but we have all those. Kasi nga, technology din naman is really helping us.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Dr. Limbadan. And I totally agree with you at this point. Technology is helping us. Now, we'd like to welcome our parent representative, the president of LaSalle Green Hills, into our conversation. I have a few questions for you as well, Miss Kat.
Sure, Miss Lycia.
Would you like to do a shout out first to anybody in particular?
Oh, Well, first, shout out to Mr. Romel. He was the one who invited me here. Thank you for your trust and your continuous support. And of course, our LSGH president, Brother Dodo, is always there to support the Parents Association. And well, I would like to greet my son. He's turning 6 today. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday. So, Miss Kat, how do you feel about the video you just watched?
Well, yeah, actually, it showed you the usual feelings that we have when the COVID-19 broke out. I heard uncertainty, um, people being extra challenged, they're anxious, their fear, they're overwhelmed. Everybody experienced this, from the children to the parents, as in everyone, because especially when we were locked down, So the kids are the ones that are actually very, very affected, both mentally and even physically. Some of them parang manifested their stress or their anxiety by being sick, di ba? May mga kung ano-ano illnesses na lumalabas. But towards the end of the video, it, like Dr. Nelly said, it showed hope, di ba? So it's kind of getting excited when they say that we're looking forward to, the blended learning, the face-to-face, finally going back to the normal, although it's a new normal already. But there are actually advantages and disadvantages, because during the lockdown, we also experienced a bonding between the family. Like siguro before pre-pandemic, we were living a very fast-paced life, and parang it's God's way also saying stop muna, diba? You have to stop, pray and diba, get together again, reset, something like that. And I'm not saying that COVID-19 is a blessing, but in some way you have to look at it as a blessing, because it made family bonding, the family stronger. It gave more time for the family to be together, to get to know each other, because let's face it, as children grow, nagbabago din yan. They're not what they have, what they feel, it's not always the same. So parang in 2 years, almost 3 years, going 3 years that we were locked down, ang dami ko na-notice sa kids ko, because I have 26 years old, I have 14, I have 7, and I have 6. So parang dinadaanan ko lahat ng stages. So yung nilalaro namin before, it's different na. So with this, it's very exciting that we're gearing towards the new normal, and hopefully very soon na maka-cope up tayo lahat. And it's really very important that observe pa rin natin lahat, like what the teacher said, proper health protocols, it should always be there. Parang wag nang mawala. We have to be very aware of our environment.
Thank you, Miss Kat. Just a follow-up question. I have a few actually. Are you aware or perhaps informed about some child protection services, or in general, the services at LaSalle Green Hills upon the coming transitional period?
Yes, we have several programs. LaSalle Green Hills aims to bring out the best in their students by nurturing their gifts, their passions, their full potential, not just through education programs, but by taking care of their ward's well-being. Lycia, I have always been very appreciative of the school's support when it comes to the children's welfare pre-pandemic, and more so during the pandemic, because we know that everybody really had to adjust, from the parents, the children, and to our teachers and our administrations as well. So it's a two-way street, no? So very thankful ako with them for thinking of everything. So we also have in LaSalle our child protection policy, or the safe space policy. This is institutional and multi-sectoral. It is chaired by a duly appointed officer designated by the brother president. And there are individual representations from all sectors, from the admin, other departments such as the faculty, guidance, and the parents as well. So through this child protection policy, bullying, which is one of the major concerns of the parents, is addressed, among others. So now that we are mostly online, we have to guard on cyberbullying as well. One measure that the school implemented is the Data Privacy Act to protect the confidentiality of personal information of the students and even the employees. So there have been incidents where cases were filed to the school and they have been addressed naman very well. So as a parent, I expect the school to act swiftly on any case filed under child protection policy. Parents must feel that the child's rights and interests are prioritized under all circumstances. And also, the school must not only be impartial, but should also appear impartial so as not to engender doubts or suspicions of bias and discrimination. Another one is that the guidance, education, and intervention services of Salle is also working very hard. Aside from the class sessions with the students, they also have individual sessions. Nagpo-follow up sila, how the students is doing, not just academics, but yung overall well-being nila. So during the pandemic, actually, in one of our meetings, I was really awed by their commitments, with their commitments. Would you believe that parang extra effort, especially with our guidance services, parang they had a 24-hour shifting of some sort where they made it a point to address the concerns, hindi lang ng students to even the parents. Parang, if merong issues, concerns, or challenges, the parents can call them and they're there, to talk to the parents, to guide them. So that's very commendable yan. And then I have been the president of our Parents Association, the LSPA, or the Salle Parents Association, for the past 3 years now. And I can say that the collaboration between the school and the parents have never been better. Our LSPA also has an anti-bullying program where we aim to spread and teach kindness to our children. And this program is fully supported by our school. We launched our kindness ambassador mascots. We call them Johnny Be Good and Just Be Kind. And then it is to help us engage more, especially with the younger kids. So we want them to exemplify and practice kindness. Although Johnny Be Good and Just Be Kind are not cannot physically interact with the students, they are very visible online. And recently also, during our homeroom, the students are made to read the kindness pledge. And apart from that, we also have parenting programs. So we usually live stream it in our FB page. Now that LaSalle Green Hills is co-educational, so it ended the LSGH status as an all-boys school. They have made infrastructural adjustments, like the toilets, of course, so to accommodate our ladies. But the curriculum, however, the same. We have programs that are not typically for boys, like cooking class, practical arts, where the students are, taught to sew buttons on their clothes, mga ganon. So, these programs, however suitable for girls, usually parang pagka-boys, di ba? Parang, wait, pang girls yan eh. But, it proves to be healthy for the boys.
Yes.
Di ba? Oo, kasi at least natututo din silang And that's one thing also in pandemic, yung boys ko natuto din magluto. So, something, di ba? Oo. And so, I can also say that the child protection in the context of the coronavirus has been addressed by the school through the vaccination program, wearing a face mask, and now that we're allowed to go there, maintaining social distances, and with the upcoming Flex program where the students attend their class physically, the school has equipped the classrooms with air purifiers as mandated by WHO and DOH. With the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak, our children are vulnerable to violence, abuse, and neglect. Sadly, no, sometimes even at home, the persons that they trust most, doon pa nangyayari is violence and abuse. So it has affected our children in three main ways. Through infection with the virus itself, through the social and economic impacts of measures such as the control, containment, and mitigation intended to reduce or stop the virus in various contexts, and through the potential long-term effects of the crisis, including our economic downfall. So as we all know, the measures used to prevent and control the spread of COVID-19 have led to the disruption of families, friendships, daily routines, and wide community dynamics. This have had many harmful consequences for children's protection, well-being, and their development. So with the school's response, I believe that they deserve the safety seal, even by the local government of Mandaluyong in September 2021. So as a parent, child protection for me is holistic. It is both physical and mental well-being. So I commend the teachers during the pandemic when we were all having online class for their efforts. I would see kasi nga I have a kinder. So para lang maging normal and to make sure that, they don't lose their concentration. Andyan mag-costume si teacher, nagsasayaw si teacher. So,
that's true.
Diba? All your efforts, parents adjust, yes, but I know the teachers also did adjustment, and we are thankful for that, for trying to give sense of normalcy to your students. With the face-to-face classes soon starting, di ba? Parang the need to strengthen the collaboration between the school and parents is essential. But we also need a strong collaboration with our community. So unconditional support from everyone, especially the home, the school, and the community where the life of the school children revolves are needed. So we also say that the parents are the first teachers of our children and the teachers are their second parents, diba? So we send them to school so that they become good citizens of society, and then the local community naman is of great influence to the learners because this is the real world, eto na. And they haven't been exposed, di ba, for quite a while. So baka paglabas nila medyo iba. Especially those kids na, yung mga bata pa, di ba? They really don't know. Yung mga grown-ups, sige, medyo okay na yan eh. But with the younger ones, parang medyo kakapanibago. Sometimes na-encounter yung kids ko, ayaw nang lumabas. Ang hirap ng hatakin because of that. But, what you don't learn at home or in school is sometimes learned in the community. So there is really, the collaboration talaga between the three groups is of utmost importance. One area of concern for almost all parents is the mental health. Diba? Young and adults were affected by the situation.
True.
So each parent has a different parenting technique. Diba? What may apply to my kids may not apply to you or to the others and vice versa. But I think the common denominator among the parents is that we are all protective of our children. Diba? So, minsan nga baka exaggerated na. Minsan guilty din ako dyan. Sinasabihan ako ng husband ko na exaggerated ka na masyado na OA yung overprotective mo. So, gano'n. So, guilty as charged, But, I believe na educating them on things that they can encounter, they may encounter, diba? Situations unknown situations, lalo na yung mga hindi nga exposed, we have to make them aware of everything that is going on, consequences of their actions and such, because sometimes I think they're very impulsive, yung children natin ngayon, very impulsive sila. So it is very important to have an open line communication and also by supporting the school and community programs. That's it.
Thank you so much for your sharing, Miss Kat. We truly learned a lot. And I agree with you that right now, first and foremost, we all have to be kind with each other. We also have to show compassion to each other, but most of all, show compassion to ourselves. Because if we don't take care of ourselves first, what will happen to all those people who depend on us? So before we continue, I invite everyone to have a 5-minute health break so that we can all grab a glass of water or do some stretching, and we will see you after 5 minutes. Hello there, we are back. Before we continue with our question and answer portion, I'd like to read some of the greetings that we have here. Greetings from the students of ICAS, Tentuan, Zamboanga City. And then we also have students from the Holy Trinity School, Harry Gulion, Elflida Olivia Piñon, Jose Pauya, watching from Nuestra Señora del Pilar Parochial School, Capiz, and Mirna Castante. And then we have here from Helen Acompañado. I'm sorry about that. She says this is her third day. She's completed the summit. Thank you so much, Miss Helen. And again, we'd like to welcome you to the third day of the CEAP Child Protection Summit. With me are Dr. Nelly Limbadan and Mrs. Catleya Ting-Garza. So now we are going to proceed to our question and answer. Let me just read our questions. We have here from Miss Josefa Rizalina. I think this is addressed to Dr. Nelly, but if Miss Kat also has any sharing or insight, we would be most welcome. Her question is, what if the parents are not cooperating? Because most possibly there are few parents in schools who may not cooperate, for instance, with the requirements, let's say convincing their children to submit the requirements. And the child does not even respond to your inquiry when the teacher extends help. So what should the teacher do then?
Try again. We don't give up. You know, this profession, being teachers, being counselors, your job is not done after 5 p.m. Kaya balik ako doon sa sabi ni Miss Kat kanina, like what LaSalle is doing, 24 hours, shifting. No? So we relentlessly, we have to follow up. We don't give up because if we do that, ano na kayang mangyayari sa kanila? So, yes ma'am, was it Ma'am Josephine? Yeah, the one who asked the question, totoo, nangyayari yan. But we don't lose heart. This is our work. It's like we signed up for this. We just don't teach, we care. So if they're not responsive, technically, we have to find out why are they? Because ang bata, tsaka yung parent, why are they not responsive? So something must be going on. There's something sa family life situation nila. So how do we do that? Nag-reach out ka na, nag-email ka na, tumawag ka na siguro, nakipag-set na ng appointment and all that. Then follow up again in 2 weeks. Yung ganon. There is no other way but to pursue. But you also have kindness. Sabi ni Ms. Kat kanina, you also have to be kind to yourself. Kasi kung talagang tinawagan mo na 3 times already, right? Tapos wala pa rin, then carefully ino-note natin. Kasi diba, i-document din natin yan on the technical side na what if, may mangyari or what. So you will really carefully take down na on week 1, tinawagan. Week 3, tinawagan. Week 9, tinawagan. But nothing pa rin. So yun. After all efforts have been exhausted, kung wala na, well, it is so sad that they're not. But we parang, sige, ayoko na, pabayaan na kita. Let's go to the next parent. Wag din namang ganon. So, how is that now? No, parang overburden na nga si teacher, etc. So we tell ourselves that we did our best. We did what we can. We have reached out. Ganon siguro, no? So the other way is, what is the database? How does the database look like? Updated ba? Baka nag-change lang ng number. Baka lumipat ng bahay. And ito pala ang nangyari, no? Some of my friends nasa Metro Manila, and because of the pandemic, lumipat ng probinsya. So baka hindi nasabihan na nag-change ng contact details and all that. So many things can happen. But we don't lose that mission of ours to continue to just really, really contact and do all our best.
How about you, Miss Kat? Thank you for that, Dr. Nelly. How about you, Miss Kat?
Yeah. In the Salle kasi, usually pag may ganyan, the teachers contact the parents through an email that is being sent by our LCC or Learning Community Coordinator. If hindi mag-respond, we also have what we call the LMS that we're using, the Ranger 360, wherein the teacher can directly get in touch with the parents. So, if it still doesn't work, sometimes experience ko na yan magme-message si teachers sa mga class officers, yung parent section representatives, or sometimes sa akin. They will ask assistance to reach out to this particular parent kasi ito yung niya, kailangan nilang makausap, ganon. So, that naman, usually LSPA has a database. So, and we also have our Viber group per section. So, we try to reach out. If wala pa din, ayun na talaga yung problema. Sad to say that, as much as may mga sinasabi ng parents na may pasaway na teacher, may mga pasaway din po parents. Diba? So, both ways. But, siguro, doon pumapasok yung importance ng collaboration. Diba?
That's true. Just to give you a feedback also from Colegio San Agustin, in the past year, we had some few students who were actually out of the country and they were enrolled in our school. Some of them were in the US. So can you see, they would attend classes at night and they would be asleep during the afternoons. Mm-hmm. And I recall my art class with one particular section was in the afternoon. So definitely the child was not able to attend my classes. So we all decided as all the level teachers to excuse him from the afternoon since he cannot attend. But then, of course, he was required to submit the tasks. So being the art teacher, I'm more concerned about process. I want to see the children do the task for them to derive fun in it and also to learn the skill. So I remember that I would always email the parents and even the child through Google Classroom. If you need my help, just let me know. I'll be the one to adjust. I'll be the one to adjust. Just give me the date, give me the time, and I will meet with you. And that was a good move on my part, on our school's part, because the parents appreciated that also, and the child also appreciated it to the point that even if my class was in the afternoon and he's supposed to be asleep, he would attend my class. So I was so happy. I'd really welcome him. I'd really let the class know, oh, look, he's here. And he's supposed to be asleep right now. And that, that in itself, it's an interaction. And it's also a good, since we were able to establish rapport, it made everything else for that child much easier. So I second what our parent rep and Dr. Nell is saying, that we don't give up. Okay, but thank you very much. We have other questions for Dr. Nell. Dr. Nell from Miss Olette Ochave. What should the teacher do when she witnesses or perceives that a student, while having online class, is in danger or might need immediate attention of an adult at home? Kindly share to our teachers some guidelines on what to do.
Okay. When there is a clear and present danger, we always call the person in authority at home, parents, or kung sino man ang naka-assign sa bahay ngayon at that time. This is what I was talking about from the very beginning. At the start talaga, okay at solid, no, updated yung information, the database talaga, pangalan, and I don't know how our teachers, iba-iba naman, di ba, in terms of ano yung pagiging OC ng mga teachers natin, or even as parent, Miss Kat, no, na sa study room nila, ito yung pangalan ng teacher, ito yung number niya, ito yung email niya. We do the same thing as teachers. Ito yung estudyante, ito yung pangalan, ito yung kanyang contact details ng kanyang parents or what. So, let me go back to that. When there is a clear and present danger, contact right away. No? But you have to ask, no, dapat meron pang kumusta ka dyan, how are you doing? I can see someone behind you, to make sure that the student you are talking now is aware na may mga ganyan, no? May nakikita sa likod or what, or in distress. Klaro naman yan, no? If in distress ang bata. So contact the parent or kung sino man ang adult or caregiver na assign perhaps on that day at that time. Meron namang ganon. In Ateneo, for example, like the basic ed, sa pinakabata talaga, di ba, di kasi allowed na yung bata lang merong adult supervisor. Hindi lang siya dapat nakikita sa camera. So, yun. So, we tap that. Kaya, siya, alam nung adult supervisor kung ano dapat ang nangyayari. So, we bank on that. Kung wala talaga, have the contact details na easily accessible. That's our first line of defense.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Nell, Dr. Nell, for that. I have a question for Miss Kat po. Miss Kat, have you ever sat in a child protection case at LaSalle?
Yes, unfortunately, I was part of the child protection or discipline committee at one point we heard a case.
How would you like to share your emotion, your personal experience through that?
Yeah, well, of course, as a parent, ako talagang when I sat there, aside from being representative of the Parents Association, parent talaga ako. So ako talagang gusto ko I wanna see everything, di ba? Baka meron tayong na-miss or something. So I requested for an extension for me to be able to read through everything, and then I requested can we talk to the teacher ng bata nung previous years? Kasi sometimes you cannot judge. Baka meron lang problem tong batang to this year. That's why he's acting this way or gano'n. So, syempre I feel for the parents also, diba? Yung parents ng bata na yung question na paano naman yun, what happened to his son or ganyan. So, yun. And then, with high emotions, you really have to weigh sometimes. Kahit ayaw mo, sometimes, di ba? Kailangan mo din, not just as a parent also, please, you also have to see the welfare and the well-being of the whole community itself, di ba? Hindi lang siya. Kasi, yun, so sometimes you really have to give a harsh judgment siguro or penalty, di ba? But you really can't help it kahit ayaw mo. And more so, kasi kung ako parent, ganun yung pakiramdam ko. What more yung mga teachers and administrations who would want to fail a student or give a penalty to a student to expel them or do something, di ba? Parang nobody wants that. So, yun.
Yes, it's a very difficult thing to sit through. As a CPC member, I've also seen quite a few number of cases, and Dr. Nell, the trepidation you feel, the anxiety, and then sometimes the investigation takes longer than one day, and still you can't come to a good decision, diba? So I feel you, Miss Kat. But that's why sometimes again I call out also to everyone. Let's just be kind. Let's just be kind to each other, so that we are all connected to each other. We are all interdependent. So kindness goes a long, long way. Now, there's another question here for Dr. Nell. Actually, I share with this question since I'm an art teacher po. How could you understand how transition or how emotions are expressed through color? Is there such a thing as color psychology?
Yeah, to all to all the art teachers or basta subjects involving art, no? I hope you took notice of the kind of colors that your learners use in their artwork. Because of course, syempre, hindi naman lahat ng ating teachers are trained with detecting whatever negative emotions are there. So nakikita on the kind of the color or the mix nila, no, the combination. And usually, I don't know ha, correct me if I'm wrong, and I need all our art teachers mag-comment kayo dyan. Totoo ba ito? Because experience din ito ng iba. At the start of the pandemic, let's say papadraw ka ng bahay or or kung whatever is happening, dark yung gamit nila. Daming dark shades, no? A combination of brown, dark na and black, and pitch black in fact yung iba. Tapos at the end of the semester or at the end of the term, meron ng mga bright colors. Meron ng mga sunshine, meron din namang baka ganyan lang sa bahay yung nakikita nila na yung mga furniture baka nga dark or what. But as art teachers, we have to be very keen on the use of colors. So kung from June or kung ano ba ang calendar na natin ngayon, at the start, tapos i-compare mo sa end, kung meron ng from dark to medyo happy color, you can give yourself a pat on your back na, uy, may pagbabago from dark to light colors. Pero kung from the start of the semester hanggang pag-end nyo, puro palang dark, this is something na I wish you would spend time outside ng klase nyo and conduct a one-on-one consultation or what, or just talk, kumusta ka? And then, ang reference natin, yung artwork. I saw na ganito yon, 'di ba? Yung diin nung, you would know that no, kung the shade is really dark, no, the pressure, yeah, that one you would know So we just ask. There's no harm in asking, but ask the right way also. Kasi there is also that art therapy na ginagawa ng ating mga other professionals as well. And dyan nila na i-express no? Yung how they are feeling at the moment. But yun na nga, watch out for the transformation. Importante yon, no? Na tinitingnan natin as their way of expressing their emotions, Miss Lycia.
I see. And then, Doc, this is, I did not see this in any of my students, but I was watching a show one time and I saw this child, he was looking at a picture. And then he got a pen and started, I don't know how, it's not coloring the head. It's more like trying to remove with the pen. But what I'm saying is it wasn't done neatly. It was done with a lot of pressure. Does that mean anything?
Meron kasi tayong sa practice namin, no, may projective technique, no. Projective technique is another way of understanding the behavior of a person. Isang psychological test ito, a type of psychological test na sa drawing, sa story, yung ganyan. So, it tells a lot, no. So, there is so much aggression or tension inside the child. Perhaps hindi niya masabi. So, ang nangyayari doon is na-displace na lang doon sa piece of art na yon or sa drawing na yon. And I do not know how expressive the child is, pero baka hindi ganyan ang situation at home, doon na lang. So, what does that tell me? No? There is unpleasant emotion going on inside the person or baka sa environment niya. So, doon na lang niya dinidisplace. So sometimes it's coping nung well, hindi lang bata, 'di ba? Tayo rin, no? We can't right away express our emotions, so we do it through other way. Ganon din. So that's red flag actually. That's red flag, Miss Lycia.
Okay. Thank you po. Just a few days ago, they were talking about in one other webinar that I'm not sure if it's this webinar or another webinar I attended, a mental health first aid.
Yeah.
Would you know how we can avail of that, or how we can find out ways if anybody would require a mental health first aid, because they were talking about that as regarding students entering transition, but with a lot of anxiety and feelings of trepidation.
Right. Sige. The concept of mental health first aid comes from the psychological first aid. Usually, ito yung ginagawa natin ngayon kung may human-induced disaster or natural calamity. Ito yung paunang lunas. If you have medical first aid, diba, you have the psychological first aid, you have the mental health first aid. So those are just actually the same thing. Now, there are institutions, there are centers who provide training on how to become MHFA or mental health first aiders. So what I can offer right now sa Ateneo de Davao, yung office ni Dr. Lemon, nung first speaker natin, nung day 1, Dr. Lemon heads COPERS. Ito yung Center of Psychological Extension Research Services nasa Ateneo de Davao. But because it's online now, our colleagues can readily be tapped and we just schedule half day or 1 day. Pero where I come from, my own organization, Psychological Association of the Philippines, we're spread throughout. And if you're watching right now, hello to you. Also, merong organization sa mga guidance counselors, no, the PGCA, Miss Lycia, so we can actually tap them, no. So they normally schedule lang natin, and we just schedule for that kasi importante that our teachers really and parents in fact, no, or kahit sino, no, in the school system sa community natin, to have that training. We will be taught with how to detect, what to do, what to say, the proper thing to ask, yung ganon. So yes, that's next siguro sa list natin, what to do, or program ni Ms. Kat. So I do not know sa school mo, ano nang mga skills training binibigay sa parents natin, because that's also very important na skill set na we can have.
Yes, that's a good question po, Ms. Kat. Are there any mental health programs being offered to children or even to parents at LaSalle Green Hills?
Actually, I made note na yung sinabi ni Dr. Nelly kasi over the past few months, we've been doing webinars on mental health, ganon.
Yes, yes.
And even pre-pandemic, we usually have seminars pa nun na talagang invite speakers, gano'n. And then, like I said a while ago, yung aming mga guidance counselor, they have those individual sessions with the children na talagang they check on our students, ganyan, how are they, lahat. So, okay naman yung program ng LaSalle, although, of course, there's still room for more improvement, di ba?
Yes.
And, yeah, oo.
That's true po. Because children are dynamic, they always grow, and situations change. That's why our title is A Culture of Care Amidst Constant Change. Mm-hmm. But it's true po that we have to address the mental health issues of everyone, not just the ones in schools, not just the children, but everyone helping the children, especially. So, in Colegio San Agustin, we also have had some webinars in the past for the teachers and for the students. And we also have even a consultant psychologist whom we can consult in emergencies and even to give talks. No? But here's my question, again for Dr. Nell. How do we convince children to try or to go back to school if they really, if they're still very anxious about it, if they're still not sold that if they step out of the house, they will not get sick immediately? How do we?
Okay. Days ago, I just met my pamangkins, no, nasa STC, QC sila. Anong level nun? Basta mga bata pa. And I do not see any hesitation of the prospect of going back to school. If any, they are beaming with excitement. No, the idea that it's blended. So, kung meron mang ganon na parang the anxiety is still there, so what we can do, sa ngayon pa lang, meron kasi tayong tinatawag na stress inoculation. So what is that, no, in layperson's term? We have to explain ngayon pa lang, i-inoculate na natin sila. We have to explain that pagdating natin doon, because maganda din naman na you will see your classmates. Aren't you excited? I'm sure parents have their own creative way, di ba? Kailan nyo ba sinasabi yan? You don't do that when there's Netflix, right? You do that when there is, di ba? So, i-prepare natin. So if there's such a thing as community preparation, and the schools, no, they're preparing now, kasi di ba yung mga recognition yata, ginagawa na ngayon sa school, we can already present to them, tingnan mo, aren't you happy? Aren't you excited to see them also in person, etc.? So we lead the way. We prepare. So siguro day by day, or I do not know, weekend, no? So you drive by the school. Oh, ganyan. I don't know, ginawa siguro natin yan. So slowly, no, we have to really inoculate. We have to show them that it's good to be back. However, kung medyo may takot pa or what, we assure them that it's normal. So yun naman talaga yung role natin, no? The assurance that ako din, medyo takot ako, kaya nga nagdo-double mask pa ako. Kaya nga KN95 or N95 or whatever yung gamit ko pa na mask na, kasi parang hindi ako, yung mga ganyan. We have to communicate to our children that I am feeling your anxiety, but we cannot be like this forever. We don't know hanggang kailan ito, but the good thing, nak, di ba, magbe-blended na tayo. And then, I tell you, maglalighten up yung mukha nila. So, we just have to really, isa pa rin, the consistency siguro, no, na from the start, okay, magbe-blended na tayo, tapos the assurance na it will not really be okay na lahat, may pandemic pa rin, but we have to take precaution. Sabi ni Miss Kat kanina, di ba? Andyan pa rin eh. So, yun. And then, modeling. Yun siguro. Tingnan mo, ginagawa ko ito. Tingnan mo, bumalik na kami sa office, di ba? Magwa 1 year na. I'm sure may mga parents tayo na ganyan. No? So, ako din, pero ito nak, no? We're doing this sa office. I'm sure gagawin din yan ninyo sa school. Merong isang student kanina sa interview, Miss Lycia, if you remember, na very specific. I want an ethyl alcohol display.
Yes, yes.
Yung mga ganon. So alam nila. And I recognize na may mga learners, may mga bata pa tayo ngayon na takot. But I have to tell you, most of them are excited. Now, they want to see uniform. Ano na bang situation ngayon? Di ba? They have gone bigger. They have, increased a little bit sa weight nila. So, nagpapa-adjust. And they are excited. Bahala na 1 hour, 2 hours lang. So, yun. I hope that. But I'd like to hear from Miss Kat siguro, di ba, Miss Lycia? Huh?
Yes,
How do you prepare?
If I may share a personal experience dun sa ganyan. Kasi, yun nga, we were talking, my boys and I, we were eating chips one time. And then, sabi ko, and then I go, sabi ko, near na yung natin. Sabi ko, near na yung face-to-face class. So, what modality do you want? Online or sagot sila lahat? Online. What? Sabi ko, so, but I signed up for Flex already. I wanted to go to your school. Sabi ko, no. I mean, why? Why don't you want to go to school? Because there's still COVID. Sabi nung and I go, but COVID is in our midst. It's not gonna go away. It's there. So, but what if we get COVID again? Kasi naging suki po kami ng COVID eh. So, what if we get COVID again? So I said that, the school, I cannot say safe because, everywhere is really not safe because the virus is everywhere, diba? So, but we have to practice precaution. Remember, because I was showing him dun sa phone ko, naghanap ako, social distancing, pinapakita ko sa kanya. I have to wear masks. So, when you go out, you have to wear masks and make sure that your hands are always clean. Don't touch anything. Ganun ako sa kanya. Okay, pero ayaw pa rin. Sabi, well, don't you wanna see the the events in the school. We used to have this Christmas fair, the lantern parade, and really there's rides. So medyo ano naman siya. But now, what we're doing is I'm thinking, kasi every level po have their own level president, and then we make up the board, right, of the PTA. So I spoke to some of them, especially the younger ones, na, let's come up with the activities, the family day. You can do it virtual, or if you can do it face-to-face, better. Parang pang-come-on natin yan. So we're planning na go to school so you can check na
Yes.
the grounds,
That's a good idea.
Na sila in preparation for the face-to-face classes.
That's a great idea, Miss Kat, to convince also even the parents, because I know some parents, they're the ones who are not a little relaxed with the idea of sending their children out.
Especially the younger ones. Kasi parang, even ako po kasi I'm thinking, what if ang dami nila, especially these younger ones, the grade 2 pababa po, diba? Parang ang hirap mong i-control. How are you going to say, hey, wait, you cannot go near each other, diba? Parang, teka muna, don't touch that. And parang ang hirap. So I can just imagine kung paano po yung anxiety ng teachers next school year. Kung paano nila pipigilan, lalo na pagka, syempre excited po yan. Pagka, diba? So when they go to their class, parang, how will the health protocols be implemented? Naku, mas stress po ang teachers, alam ko. Pero that's why I think it will also be a very big help if so ngayon pa lang the parents also start giving orientation to their kids, and when you go out and you have classes, you do this, the health protocols, diba? Para they will learn, they'll start to learn, and then they can do it na rin when they're out.
And also to bring the children to the school by family, at least get the child acquainted with the layout, especially the young children, because they're the ones who've been kept inside for 2 years. I have a niece, she graduated from her preparatory school when COVID came in. So grades 1 and 2, she had to do it online. So can you imagine the feeling na, oh my goodness, I'm going to meet my friends for real this time. So she could be feeling a lot of anxiety, but she's not talking about it yet. Is that right, Dr. Nell? She could be feeling the anxiety there, right?
Yeah. It's there eh. Kaya tayo, we have to be very keen talaga, no, na observer, ano na bang sinasabi ngayon. And then you will just be surprised. Uy, parang ready na. Iba, when the next day, parang okay na. Ganyan. Miss Lycia, para hindi ko lang makalimutan, pwedeng, I just want to ask Miss Kat ba? Is that okay? May I ask? Kasi, di ba, Miss Kat, you have a PhD in business management or something, and being a president also of the association, I was just wondering ba, how do you take care of yourself? Anong self-care? Kasi baka yung ibang parents din natin, so they're watching now, and yeah, what do you do? No, self-soothing na mga activities mo.
Well, I think it's more on rin kasi time management, but with the healthcare, I take supplements po kasi. So
that's good.
I'm very happy with the supplements that I'm taking now kasi parang it gives me additional energy, actually, gano'n. And then with that, there are times po talaga na stress din talaga ako. Kasi na parang, wait, bakit parang ang dami ngayon? Especially po medyo OC ako. Gusto ko may nakaayos lahat and everything. So pagka medyo nalilate ako sa deadline kung gato, parang feeling ko harassed ako, stressed ako, ganun. So ang sa akin po is parang I give special attention, like kunyari, and a special schedule also. Kunyari, this day is meron din to, parang all Salle yan. Ito dun sa isang business, yung gano'n. Pero in between po, talagang hindi mo rin naiiwasan emergency meeting ka ng ganito.
Yeah.
But I think it will all boil down to really time management. And of course, you have to take care of your health. Kasi if hindi, you will not be able to do all of this also.
Yeah. Thank you.
I just have one last question. How do you motivate yourself? I mean, in the past 2 years, was there ever a time that you felt so unmotivated to do anything? And then how did you motivate yourself?
I'll go ahead ba, Miss Kat?
Yes, Dr. Nelly.
Yeah, oo, sige. Sige, at the start of the pandemic talaga, so that's like March, April, May of 2020, no? I did not see clients. Okay, I see people for therapy. I had to like really understand for myself what's happening around the world. I had to do training on telecounseling, teletherapy, and all that, but I had to stop. I had to take care of myself muna kasi merong denial at the start na, oh, is this really happening? Should I be affected? I'm a psychologist. Parent ako, di ba? Ganyan. Miss Kat, hindi pwedeng, ma-stress din ako or what. So, to motivate myself, I just go back. I stop. I had to stop. I had to pause. Resting is very important, but it doesn't mean you have to stop. So to get a perspective of things, what are happening right now, anong kailangan ngayon, my deadline ba and all that. So tingnan mo lang kasi if you don't also do your part, parang 'di ba? They'll also be paralyzed in some ways. Like I have other things to do din kasi aside from this as a psychologist. So some admin work, some consultancies also. So to motivate myself, I had to think of what am I really here for. With the pandemic, ano pa ang pwede kong magawa. And then I talk to my God. There's really no other way. In silence, kasi at the site, hindi naman pwedeng lumabas ka. So, yun. I had to really think of that purpose, sense of purpose. What are you doing here in this world? Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Nell. How about you, Miss Kat? Did you go through something similar?
Yes, with me naman po, syempre, na-stop lahat for business, na-stop po lahat yan. Yung trading company, kasi because we do importation, so stop din po lahat yon. So, at first, na parang wait, parang what's going to happen? Lalo na po, diba, lockdown. And, parang ang hirap. Diba? Yun yung ang hirap. So stress. So like Dr. Nelly said, you have to stop, pause. Diba? And then, if you think about it, walang mangyayari if you just keep on complaining. So sa akin po kasi ganun instead of you complaining and complaining, yes, human nature, you complain, oo. But then, huwag mo nang karirin, huwag ka nang tumambay sa kaka-complain. Parang ganun.
True.
Something, and ano pwede mong gawin, di ba? Para hindi ka ma-stop dyan. So, yun, ganun po yung ginawa ko. And then, nung medyo okay, I had severe COVID naman. So, I almost got intubated also. I wasn't able to see my kids. Talagang sobrang po. And then the time, parang, ang ko is, when you're in that situation na parang, naku, baka lumabas ako dito sa hospital, naka-body bag na ako. Parang, wait lang, Lord, I'm not yet done. Dami ko pa palang gagawin. So, yung mga realization po na gano'n. And then, so, you pray, diba? Parang sabi ko nga, naku, teka muna, baka kasi nakakalimot din. So, minsan, because ang daming ginagawa, nakakalimot din po tayo. So, that was the time na parang talaga feeling ko, kinalabit ako ni Lord. Parang, oy, ano ka ba? Parang something gano'n. So, sa akin, after that ordeal, talagang, ayun po, refocus, gano'n. And then parang, let's make it a point to thank the Lord, diba? I'm still alive, I'll still be able to do this, gano'n. So, yun po, that's what gave me the motivation also.
Thank you so much, Miss Kat. Thank you once again, Dr. Nelly and Miss Kat, for your sharing this morning. Could we request for a final message from you addressing all our attendees today? Miss Kat, would you like to go first?
So, well, first of all, I would like to thank CEAP for coming up with this wonderful webinar. It really helps everyone, especially our parents, who are very much worried about our children's protection, to be informed and compare views. Adopting changes in life is not an easy process, and many people do not always welcome the idea of change. So some schools and even parents have always been focused on raising the academic achievement of their children, the students, So sometimes they overlook one very important factor in learning. That is their students or their child's physical and mental health. So both physical and mental health constitute the overall health of a person. So, maintaining a healthy lifestyle should be a lifelong practice for every person of any age. It will boil down to holistic education. So let us just remember that a healthy mind makes a healthy body, and it is the greatest treasure we can find.
Thank you, Ms. Kat. How about you, Dr. Nell? What is your message for us?
Right. The matter on child protection is primarily for the children. But what I would like to communicate as a matter of final words now would be adults also, we protect also ourselves, parents, teachers, administrators, the entire community. Hindi lang kasi ito me first. Baka sabihin naman natin napaka-selfish, but what we are advocating is that we take care of ourselves too. So hindi siya me first, but me too. Let's protect everybody. Thank you for this invitation, CAP. Always a nice time to be sharing here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nell. That was wonderful. Me too. Correct, Paul. Let's take care of ourselves. Let's show ourselves self-compassion so that we can take care of others better. So before we end, may I just remind you again that you will receive the certificate of attendance only upon completion of the evaluation form. The link is already posted in the comments section of this page and on our Facebook page. Again, please note that the link will be live only from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. today. Again, the link to the evaluation will go live from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. today. Please accomplish and submit the evaluation form and you will receive your certificate of attendance within the next 3 to 5 days. Please note also that the PowerPoint slides of all the speakers in this summit will be made available at the CEAP website, www.ceap.org.ph, ready for downloading. At this point, let me now call on Deputy Executive Director of CEAP, Ms. Mary Ann Cruz, to give us the synthesis and the next steps of this summit.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Nell and Ms. Kat, for your engaging sharing today with Ms. Lycia. As we reach the end of our 3-day summit, allow me to give you some synthesis and next steps. When we started the summit last Wednesday, Father Mauricio Ulep, during the opening mass, reminded us to choose Jesus always, especially in the midst of all the crisis around us. He emphasized the importance of an encounter with the Lord so we can see the light in all the darkness that is surrounding us. Our president, in her opening remarks, Sister Marisa, echoed this message by reminding us to always let a culture of care permeate in our entire school community so that our students and our stakeholders encounter the Lord not only in the rituals and activities and programs, but most especially in their encounter with each other. That our schools become real safe spaces for our students where they can learn and grow. Mr. Arellano, in his overview, reminded us of our resolutions in last year's Child Protection Summit. To be proactive in our approach in preparing and capacitating our students in mental health work and integrating psychosocial preparedness in our activities so they will not be overwhelmed by unexpected situations like the COVID-19. He also pointed out how important collaboration and networking are in this very challenging task of child protection. In our survey on mental wellness, we gleaned that around 82 to 84% of the respondents, both the students and the teachers and learning partners, are all looking forward to returning to face-to-face classes. The students, because they want to see their friends again, and almost half of the student respondents, although excited, are a bit afraid of contracting the virus as they go back to socializing. Hence, they remain a little anxious in going back to school, but are excited. The faculty and staff are excited also and look forward to seeing not only their colleagues, but in interacting with students in the school setup. A significant number of these adult respondents are still worried of their safety because of a possible surge in the cases. However, they are more concerned about giving the students all the support that they need as they adjust to the new setup in school during the transition period. Drs. Dimalanta and Lemon, resource persons of the first day, outlined some help that parents and teachers can give to the students during this transition period. We need to recognize our children's social, emotional, and mental challenges and help to ensure their well-being, especially in light of school closures in the past 2 years. Some tips given by the resource persons include re-establishing routines, helping the children emotionally prepare for a return to school by discussing with them all their worries about returning, and focusing always on the positive so as not to add to their anxieties. Teachers also need support as they handle a hybrid learning environment and deal with the added stress that is related to it. So it is important for administrators to periodically assess the needs of the teachers and the staff. They may need to provide teachers with the communication tools and the necessary training that they need to navigate the hybrid learning environments. After all, this hybrid learning is an opportunity for personalizing learning, elevating well-being, and harnessing digital transformation. But as our day 2 session showed us, the digital environment brings with it a share of risks and problems. And Sister Mary John Mananzan, chairperson of Cyber Guardian Philippines, gave us the shocking reality of online sexual abuse, online bullying, and online child pornography, sometimes perpetrated by their parents even. Attorney Esquivel presented the existing laws that currently cover online child abuse and exploitation. It is evident that we really need to strengthen our collaboration in order to protect our children, as discussed in today's session by Dr. Nelly and Ms. Catleya Garza. But perhaps the greatest takeaway for us educators in our approach to child protection is what Sister Mary John referred to as a whole nation approach. In this approach, Sister Mary John gave us some prescriptions of what we can do as schools. If you want to keep our schools safe, we have to educate our teachers and staff about the matter on cybercrime and cyberbullying. Special training of guidance counselors to handle effectively cases of cybercrimes and cyberbullying. An inclusion of this in the curriculum in all stages, and particularly in the elementary and the high school, and of course in the college, adapted to the stage of maturity of the students. Again, it should be adapted to the stage of maturity of the students. We also need to have an effective system of prevention and disciplinary measures that go with cyberbullying. And we must have an intensive discussion with the parents about this matter. And that is only for our schools. The whole nation approach includes having us call on our local government and our national government and the civil society in general. Stricter laws against cybercrimes, regulations, and monitoring of TV shows should be done by the state and the related department. Courts of justice should punish the perpetrators. The DSWD should ensure the care of the victims. And we need conscientization of all government officials regarding gender and violence against women and children. And because the parish and the school are partners in the evangelizing mission of the church, the parish priest should be given a seminar on cybercrimes, since most of the perpetrators and the victims are members of their parish. And the mandated organizations must also be made aware of this matter. And parishes can establish counseling centers to help the schools in this matter. Resources of the church and the religious congregations could be used to put up refugee houses for the victims of cybercrimes, as Sister Mary John enumerated yesterday. Civil society must include this in their advocacy, and the media should write on this matter to educate the people. If it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a nation to protect a child. So let us all do our share, collaborate. Let us protect the Filipino child. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cruz. As we end this Child Protection Summit, we would like to thank our partner, the Private Education Assistance Committee, or PEAC, and our reliable web host, Raxo City, for this 3-day summit. On behalf of our President, Sister Maria Marisa Viri, RVM, and the CEAP Board of Trustees, Mr. Jose Alan Arellano, the Executive Director and the National Secretariat, this is Maria Lycia Laig-Rivadelo, your moderator for today, saying thank you and have a blessed weekend.
Sa ikaw at ako, natuto sa prinsipyong punyo at serbisyong totoo. Kahalintulad ni Kristo, isang puwarang Katoliko. Pagkakaisa sa tulong at gawa, masasalamat alaala, pagbabago, ang misyon sa mundo, magagawa sa biyaya ni Kristo. Ang kabataan, may hamon at alay sa ating bayan, maging lingkod at tulad ng pagbabago sa misyon sa mundo. Virgen Maria, ang gabay at ang modelo. Sa mundong may bagong anyo, isang bansang may bagong sigla. Dahil sa ikaw at ako, natuto sa prinsipyong punyo at serbisyong totoo.